It was a crisp spring morning when I stood on my porch, sipping coffee and soaking in the sight of my freshly painted home. The soft taupe color gleamed under the sunlight, a choice I'd painstakingly cleared with the Oakwood Grove Homeowners Association just 3 months earlier. Everything felt right until I spotted an envelope in my mailbox, stamped with the HOA's logo. My gut told me something was off even before I tore it open. The words inside hit like a punch. Saw urgent violation notice. Your home must be repainted within 14 days. Current color does not meet neighborhood standards. Non-compliance will result in due law 200 daily fines. Saw my hands shook as I read it again, disbelief turning to anger. I'd followed every rule, dotted every I, crossed every T. Grabbing my phone, I dialed the HOA office. "This is Daniel Harper from Maple Drive," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I got a notice about repainting my house, but I had this color approved months ago." There was a long pause before the office manager's voice came through, low and uneasy. "Mr. Harper, we didn't send that." My stomach dropped. I'd moved to Oakwood Grove 6 months ago, drawn to its pristine lawns and tidy homes. The HOA's strict rules seemed like a small price to pay for the promise of order and rising property values. But I hadn't bargained for meeting Cynthia Reynolds. She'd stormed over while I was still unpacking, clipboard in hand, introducing herself as an HOA committee member. "We have standards here," she'd said, her smile sharp as a knife, listing rules about everything from mailbox height to approved shrub types. Her tone carried a smug authority, like she was the queen of Maple Drive. I nodded politely, hoping she'd leave me alone after that. No such luck. Cynthia became a fixture, prowling the neighborhood with her phone, snapping photos of minor infractions: a lawn slightly too long, a trash can outpass pickup. Neighbors warned me about her. "Keep her happy," my next-door neighbor, Matt, muttered one day. "She's got the board wrapped around the finger." After that fake notice, I started asking around. I wasn't the only one targeted. Matt had gotten a letter demanding he remove his basketball hoop, even though it met every HOA guideline. Then Gwyn's across the street were told to rip out their new tulip beds. Each letter cited rules that didn't exist in our HOA bylaws. We gathered at my place one evening, comparing notes. "This is nonsense," said Lisa Martinez, who'd served on the landscaping committee for years. She held up one of the letters, squinting. "The logo's right, but the font's off. And this signature Cynthia Reynolds, Chief Compliance Officer, that's not a real position." Things got worse. A second notice arrived, this one nastier, threatening lawsuits if I didn't repaint. "Saw your defiance undermines our community's values," saw it read, the words dripping with venom. That night, walking my dog, I caught Cynthia staring at my house from across the street, her lips curled in a smirk. When she noticed me, she called out, "Trouble with the HOA, Daniel? I hear fines are piling up for some folks." Her voice was syrupy, but her eyes gleamed with malice. That's when it clicked she was behind this. I wasn't about to let it slide. I requested every official HOA letter sent to my address from the management company. When they arrived, the fakes stood out like sore thumbs. A slightly wrong shade of blue in the logo, no license number in the footer, and that bogus Chief Compliance Officer title. Then Matt texted me late one night. Saw Cynthia slip something into the Wilsons' mailbox. Checked it after she left another fake notice. Saw that was the last straw. I called the HOA president, Stephen Kim, and laid out everything. He wasn't shocked. "Cynthia's been a problem," he admitted. "She's just a volunteer, but she acts like she runs the place." We took our EVY Denke to the police, who didn't mince words. Forging letters and tampering with mailboxes were federal crimes. They proposed a trap. The HOA sent a real notice to a vacant house on the market, citing minor fence issues. Then we waited to see if Cynthia would escalate it with one of her fakes. It took 3 days. Security cameras caught her at dawn, sliding an envelope into the mailbox, her face smug as ever. A plainclothes officer was waiting. Neighbors later told me she puffed up when confronted, declaring, "I'm conducting official HOA business as Chief Compliance Officer." But when the officer opened her letter full of unapproved threats like liens, and lawsuits her bravado crumbled. "It's a misunderstanding," she stammered. "I'm just helping the board." A search of her house sealed her fate. Police found stacks of counterfeit letterheads, files on every neighbor, and a computer with templates for her fake notices. Worst of all was her spreadsheet, tracking who'd obeyed her demands and who hadn't. My name was there, labeled "Saw Troublemaker, Risks Neighborhood Standards." Saw was chilling, like she'd been waging a one-woman war against us. The courtroom was packed when Cynthia faced the judge. She tried to play the VY Tim, tears streaming as she claimed she was protecting property values the HOA board had neglected. The judge wasn't VYing it. "Mrs. Reynolds," he said, his voice like steel, "you're not here for caring about your neighborhood. You're here for forging documents, harassing your neighbors, and breaking federal mail laws. Your actions were deceptive and malicious." The sentence hit hard: 18 months in prison, 3 years probation, and restitution to everyone who'd repainted or altered their homes because of her lies. Cynthia's face went white as the judge spoke. "But I was just keeping things nice," she whispered, her voice breaking, as if she genuinely believed she'd done no wrong. As the bailiff led her away, she glanced back at Usher neighbors, her eyes a mix of shock and betrayal, like we'd wronged her by exposing her schemes. Standing outside the courthouse, I felt a strange mix of relief and unease. Cynthia had terrorized us, but part of me wondered how someone could spiral so far. Con V. Wine said they were the hero of their own twisted story. Oakwood Grove was quieter now, the HOA more transparent, but her shadow lingered, a reminder of how power, even imagined, could corrupt. What do you think? Did Cynthia deserve her punishment, or was she just a misguided neighbor trying to keep things perfect? Could you forgive someone who targeted your home like that? And where's the line between enforcing rules and becoming a tyrant? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if this story got your blood pumping, and subscribe for more wild tales of entitled people getting their comeuppance. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story on Store of Good Stories. If this story touched your heart or made you think, don't forget to hit like and share the video to spread this positive message to more people. And if this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of the meaningful stories we share every week. Your support is the biggest motivation for Store of Good Stories to keep bringing heartfelt and valuable stories to you. See you in the next video. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story on Store of Good Stories. If this story touched your heart or made you think, don't forget to hit like and share the video to spread this positive message to more people. And if this is your first time here, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of the meaningful stories we share every week. Your support is the biggest motivation for Store of Good Stories to keep bringing heartfelt and valuable stories to you. See you in the next video.